It depends on who you are. If you're an investor, not a speculator, if you're an investor, I prefer oil and gas because the companies are generating so much cash and they're so cheap. And the industry as a whole isn't investing enough sustaining capital to maintain production. So that circumstance continues. As a speculator, certainly the upside volatility is in silver and uranium. Uranium is so volatile right now, you're almost forced to be a trader, which is not what I do. But you see these stocks go up 30 or 40% in 3 or 4 weeks, and you see this incredible euphoria. And then you see the stocks collapse. You can almost understand how to trade uranium stocks by watching the number of views that my uranium YouTube interviews get. If the interview is over 30,000 views, you should be a seller. And if the interview is under 6,000 views, you should probably be a buyer. That isn't what I like to do. You know, what I really like to do is buy something deeply out of favor, participate in a couple placements and sell it 5 years later for a 10x. You know, that's sort of my preference. But the truth is, if somebody gives you more than you deserve in 4 or 5 weeks, you're probably duty bound to take it. Silver is a different circumstance. The luster is off silver, pardon the pun. And I love that circumstance. I love circumstances where very high quality development names like Silvercrest are off by half. And I'm prepared to believe it might take 1.5 years or 2 years for silver to find its way back into speculative favor, which is fine for me. You know, I'm 69 years of age. I've, as an investor, lived through 25 2-year periods. If it takes me 2 years to see the silver price go from some number like 20 to some number like 50 or 60, if it takes me 2 years to see the high quality silver companies triple, and the best of the leveraged silver companies to go up 10 for 1, I'm okay with that. And the fact that I can sit back at my leisure for the next 6 or 7 months and not be rushed into decisions because I'm competing with 10,000 morons in the market, it's just a wonderful circumstance. We can take a look at a company. I can have the geologists sort of digest it. We can let the lawyers look at it from a community relations and ESG point of view. We can do our own work in terms of the interplay between the balance sheet and the income statement. Look, as an example, at how much money is spent in G&A relative to assets under management. You know, do all the kind of work that you're supposed to do before you invest. And that level of due diligence was impossible to do 2 years ago because the stocks were moving too fast. Most people, yes. Look for something where maybe the story is behind the company or something that sold off just because it stopped going up.
And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
There are a bunch of people who own Silvercrest that have no idea why they owned it. And the consequence of that is that many of them sold it, not having the courage of their convictions. If you've spent as much time on Silvercrest as I have, and if you've had the benefit of being part of Sprott, which was there from before the time it was public, you can have a reasonably high degree of confidence. If you see a deposit that's absolutely positively going to grow, which it is, and you see a deposit that's in the quiet period leading up to production, which it is, and you see it in a sector where the commodity's out of favor and you think it's going to go up, and you think as a consequence of that after the commodity goes up, the sector's going to re-rate. If in your own mind you are willing not to have too much psychological verification, I think that it's not unreasonable to look at a 5-year 5-bagger. And that's sort of fun.
Yeah, their cost of production is ridiculously low, way lower than the industry average. And that's really what you want to look for a silver play, correct?
Well, it certainly gives you coverage to the downside. If it takes longer for silver to recover, those guys make a lot of money at $18. I happen to believe that on a nominal dollar basis, that in the next 5 years, silver trades north of 50. And so I always run myself a $20 case, and then I run a $25 case, and then I run a $50 case. And I do valuations on a matrix of pricing assumption. Ironically, the companies that don't make any money at all at $20 are the guys that generate the largest pro forma increases at $50, which is to say the inefficient producers offer more leverage. But I'm inclined to look at both my upside and my downside. And if I have circumstances where at $20 I don't have a downside, I can afford to be a little more generous with myself in terms of what upside I'm willing to take.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
I have bad news for you. If you're not rich by now, you're screwed. And if you're in debt, you're even double screwed. How so, you might wonder? Well, the sad truth is that you're working your whole life to make someone else rich. The mega corporations, the banks, the politicians, everyone is getting richer. They get your money. And what is even worse, they get your time, they get your life. You are not even in a rat race, you're in a financial prison. But what could a solution for you look like? Honestly, I don't know, but I know what a solution for me would look like. It's very simple. I use whatever money I have and I multiply it with 1,000. This could make my life much easier and probably yours as well. If you have $1,000 available and multiply this with 1,000, I believe that this could solve some financial issue for the one or the other. Of course, if you're ugly, you would have to multiply it with much more than 1,000. My name is Markus Dahn, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to 1000x my money. This is not a joke. I know what you may be thinking. What is this guy talking about? How should this work? This is not possible. Well, I made a detailed video where I laid out my plan. And some clever folks might even want to look at this plan and copy it and do exactly what I do. This is just a little hint on the side. You have two options. You leave, you forget what you have seen. You do whatever you're doing and you hope that somehow you get some other results. Good luck with that. Or you click the link below the video. You enter your email address because I'm not showing this to everybody. You at least watch my video on how I plan to 1000x my money. The choice is yours. Make the right choice. Join me. See what a different future you could have. See at least how I intend, how I plan to do the 1000x. So click on the link below, enter your email address, and I see you on the other side. Your Markus Dahn.